What happens when you have a LEGO Bionicle Machis make an entire toy line from the ground up by themselves, and more importantly, one that has been prominently known for incorporating play features in their builds? Hello, this is Tributron bringing you the making of Ascending Depths. Let's dive in, shall we? Back in the fall of 2020, after making various creations and posting online, I would get an idea, one that would inspire me into a chain of events and challenges that I would encounter, from getting back into drawing to learning how to produce prototypes, including experimenting with different materials and world building. Though to fully grasp how one human being, such as myself, can possibly do all this, we must first address a few things about me. I began making custom Bionicle builds in 2016. Being fresh out of high school and starting at a community college, every week I would showcase a new creation. My goal? To create a build more complex than the last. This involved a lot of gears and levers built into my models to activate a function. Wanting to study to be a mechanical engineer, I couldn't have asked for anything less to do in my spare time. Yet my builds slowly changed over the years after seeing what others have been making online in the community. And these builds of mine became more cleaned up with very little greeble, followed by 4 online pitches to LEGO for a new buildable figures line between 2017 and 2019. Yet each pitch, sorry, I bit my lip. Yet each pitch had very little success. Now, you are probably wondering, wait a minute, 4 pitches pertaining to what oh, gosh. Now you are probably wondering, wait, 4 pitches pertaining to what I would eventually be making in the future? Oh my gosh, I can't read a script. Anyways, I made 4 pitches to LEGO, alright, and I made 4 pitches to LEGO. Now, the first one was based on my OC that was not a self-insert character, but rather a biomechanical being that traveled across the stars, a Ronin, seeking justice for those who need it. This character was known as Tana, and she would later be revised a year later with multiple revamps to look more like a Toa Shadow to fit into the Bionicle AU. I really like Shadow Toa, and I really like Dragonborns for some reason, so it's like, heck yeah, I want to make this character. This is a very cool character that I made, and I like it, because he does a shadow that can also breathe fire, so it was like pretty sick. The next pitch, however, was BioLegend. Now, this one was a little bit more fascinating as a book was being published to go along with the figures that would eventually be made. The story: a group of machines on a post-apocalyptic Earth that are slowly revitalizing the planet. Yet, the more they expanded their reaches, more questions began to arise for not only what has happened before the departure of man, but what they themselves really are, with the 3rd and 4th pitches being more so a continuation and or addressing of the Bionicle universe. It is by this point in 2019 that I would have gotten out of college. However, from always making a mock, also known as my own creation, once a week for almost 4 years straight, there were a lot of ideas. There were not a lot of ideas left in what I could really build in a short time frame with the current building systems. These systems consisted of classic Lego brick, Technic, the character and creature building system, and vintage Bionicle elements. The ideas left were simply too advanced and complex to complete in a short time frame. One of them being a self-transforming Borak from the year 2002, which I am still working on. It's not done yet. It ended up being a little bit bigger than I was planning, so usually when I go ahead and make a model, I try to make it smaller once I finish making it. So once I'm done making it, it's not really done yet. Wait, how does this have to do with ascending depths? Alright, set design. Now, the reason why I got such large... Alright, set design. Now, the reason why I got such a large following was not because I built stuff frequently, but rather the style method. The main reason a lot of people followed my work was due in part of a few reasons. The main one, of course, was the fact that my builds looked more like an actual set you could see on the shelf. Though some look down on that due to them actually preferring something more cleaned up and custom. However, funnily enough, it is my weird building methods that also attract a portion of those very builders that want to improve their own creations. I see you. I've been here for several years. I see everything. I'm everywhere. Yet, as much as I gave my creations a retail level presentation, the big glaring issue was continuing and making them. I would always use more parts than necessary sometimes, though some are mandatory to have a lot of elements, especially builds that can walk or do some other complex movements that simple X or Y axis rotation mechanisms couldn't replicate, like the Rahagamok over there, the Makuta Pterodex up there, if you could see it. You know, there's quite a few examples. I would always make my build simple yet complex enough to where audiences would have difficulty replicating to build, so that they would need instructions just to make them. Now, it did come. Oh no. Now, it did cost me quite a bit just to keep up with such a schedule and expectation. It was getting to a point where neither Patreon or YouTube was giving me enough to keep the trend going. It was only when I chatted with a fan in 2020 that I realized that only so many people can build what I was building from scratch at home, which led me to wanting to make figures more readily available for kids and young adults alike. It was then that I would go forth in making ascending depths. Yet to do that meant experimenting with different materials and testing out parts before settling down on a final design or system. This involved testing the melting points and various types of plastic, experimenting with resin for minimal usage in prototypes, and coming up with design language. These figures, mind you, will be using high quality plastics. These include ABS, PVC, and polypropylene. I hope I said that right. Yet, the design language would come much later in production. For now, making parts was the most important while I designed and made my own injection molding machine capable of pumping high volumes of product. This involved testing with different types of silicone and plaster before settling on metal casted molds for parts. Metal casted molds. Sorry, bit lip again. It hurts. But this is where things get a little wild. Because I was making so many molds, I would use pre-existing parts before settling on my very own parts. But this is where things get a little wild. Because I was making so many molds, I would use pre-existing parts before settling on making my own parts. What this meant was, by the time I started making the custom parts, I've also gained a grasp on not only how to make molds efficiently, but gained a firm grasp on fluid mechanics, all the while filming a movie in my spare time in the year 2021. Though, let's be fair, I have been doing stop motion projects since 2018. Now, back to Ascending Depths. While creating new parts and elements, I discovered a big glaring flaw. as I was making parts, it became very clear to me that though other toy lines like Bionicle, Slicer, and Hero Factory were readily popular, a lot of money was wasted, especially for Bionicle when it came to having to make a lot of new parts each year. So much so that it would explain the need for there to be a lot of merchandise, clothing, and other apparel followed by other things to keep the gears turning. When it came to Hero Factory, they came up with the Creature and Character Building System, CCBS, which helped greatly, but it would later die off. To not repeat the mistakes of the past, I aimed for a new building system. Broken down every creature, character, vehicle, and structure down to their basic shapes. Only then did I see a world of geometric in its design. It was from there that I saw the missing link. A building block that wasn't always a prism, but an object that could be morphed to transform one thing into another by simply adding another quote-unquote building block. And with the help of a fan, I called this new building system in the year of 2021, TRIBS, the Tailored, Reconstructible, Intuitive Building System. With TRIBS, you can create anything without fear of gaps, yet still keeping agreeable if you so choose. Builds could be completely smooth if you wanted them to. Not only that, but with how intuitive the new building system is, it would be easy for me to produce in large quantities. It was with this new building system that would allow me to not only rewrite the story so many times when it came to character descriptions. We should also point out that these new figures being made would also have a fully written narrative for up to 4 years, from 2024 all the way up to the year of 2028. Though originally Ascending Dust was supposed to be launched in the year of 2022, a few factors held back the production. Between working on an animation and the project a year prior had slowed down the development and was pushed back further due to online backlash from misinformation. Yet that did not stop me from continuing working on the project. As in February of 2021, I started working outside of just working from home, working 10-hour shifts from 40 to 50 hours a week, and when I got off work, I'd come back home, work on a new toy line, writing one chapter to the next. And I would keep, writing one chapter after the next, repeatedly. Even if I had, a very long day at work, I would still write it, and just do it throughout most of that year. Because I'd lost a lot of subscribers and it was very difficult to work myself back up. Very difficult. Lost a lot of revenue from that. And it hurt me greatly. It hurt me greatly. And I did not enjoy it, not one bit. But this is something that I want to do. This is my dream, my passion is to make these buildable figures become a reality. Which is why I just never stopped working on this toy line, because I really want this thing to be a thing, because I've always enjoyed making figures, for online and everything like that. Now, as for Ascended Devs, it takes place on an ocean world in the galaxy of Exobia Vizar. There live various subgroups of biomechanical beings, all living in different regions, each with their different levels of technological advancements. Why is it so difficult for me to read that? On the surface sits an island called the Realm of the Sky, also known as Sky Realm. It is believed that all life has originated from the waters below, and thus each large area is its own designated realm. It is here that the quite tall bipedal Atolian inhabitants hunt and gather for resources. Yet they have thrived from what the land has provided and made multiple communities without disrupting the land they lived on. Yet it is only in recent years that surviving has proven more difficult. This is mainly due to the overarching villain that has been influencing the other realms to go against each other, with each group wanting to insert their reign and culture upon the lands for what they believed to be how life should be. Some dream of recreating a world of the ancients. Gone is the organics of their metal frames for the servos and artificial brains of the sterile world. Some wish to keep the way of life, while others want to create a new world order in their image, with the latter accomplishing this through science and magic. The time has come for this change, as the cycle is closing to an end. For it is at the end of the stories and legends long old that this story begins, where the cycle of events long forgotten does the great cycle envelops, a cycle of time itself. Though to learn more about this story, you would have to wait when the comics and novels are released next year. This is your host, Tribushan here. And I would like to say that at first, when I was writing the script, I was thinking about using voice AI to do it, but then I decided, no, I am going to voice it because I did not like the sound of it. So you are stuck with my voice. So I hope you enjoyed my sweet and succulent voice throughout this video, and please stay tuned when I release something new coming October 31st of 2023. There's something big to show you guys. Yes, I am in fact making sets, and I can't wait to show you what I have been working on. But for now, that'll be all. If you like this video, why not give it a like? And if you want to see more content like this, please don't. I do not like video essays, but if you do want to see more video essays, be sure to subscribe, or just to see new videos, just any videos, any builds. I would do a build any time because I could just improv. Don't know how to read a script. I hate reading scripts. I suck at reading scripts. But yeah, so please stay tuned, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.